Okay, being a full-time YouTuber is so much more than just living a glamorous life, capturing it all on camera, making a couple of edits, and throwing that MP4 file up on youtube.com. It usually looks more like this. I mean, I know I make it look that easy, but it's not, guys, come on. So you probably knew all that already, being a creator yourself, but what you might not know is how to plan and organize out your week so that you can actually get all of those tasks done that are involved in creating content. So I'm gonna show you how I do it. In any given week, I'm writing, filming, editing, designing thumbnails for 2 videos. Plus, I'm negotiating brand deals with potential future brand sponsors, and I'm planning out future video ideas. And on top of all that, I also record a weekly podcast and create consistent content for my Instagram. Oh yeah, and I also run a social media marketing agency as well, called Creatorly. So that's a lot of work, which means that I need to be organized. As my mom always says, you need to plan your work and then work your plan. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I plan my work. The most important step before you can plan your work is figuring out what that work should be. Basically, you need to decide how many videos are you gonna make each week. Now, it's important to be realistic about this. I think a lot of times as creators, we can get a little overambitious and overcommit ourselves to the point where it's not gonna be something we can actually keep up. It's either gonna be the fast track to burnout or we're just gonna quit. When I first really started taking YouTube seriously, it was like the 2016, 2017 era of everybody daily vlogging, aka trying to be like Casey Neistat. And so for like 4 or 5 months straight in 2017, I made 5 YouTube videos a week. The only way I can explain this is that I was a little bit crazy. I don't know. The thing is, looking back, it's like kind of unfortunate because those videos aren't exactly that good. And that's the thing, when you try to make a lot of videos, you're gonna end up sacrificing the quality. So it's always kind of a balance of quantity and quality, because if you're a perfectionist, you might lean towards posting really not that often at all because you just can't quite get the videos right. But then on the other end of the spectrum, if you're like me and just throwing videos out 5 times a week and then they're not even good, nobody wants to watch them. So I feel like there's a happy medium there. Right now, I'm posting 2 videos a week, but I'm thinking that for the month of October, I'll probably just post 1 video a week. It can fluctuate too, it's okay. And also, don't feel pressure to post as often as me. Like, I do this for a job now. So, figure out what makes sense for how much time you have to commit to this like side hustle, if it's a side hustle at this point. And then based on that, determine what your posting schedule is gonna be. If it's every other week, if it's once a week, those are all fine. The important thing is though, determine what your weekly deliverables are gonna be and then make a note of that, write that down. Once you've determined what your outcomes or deliverables are gonna be, then you need to break it down to the smaller scale and figure out what tasks are involved in completing each of those deliverables. So let's just talk in specifics here, okay? You wanna make 1 YouTube video a week. Now you need to determine what do you need to do to actually create that video each week. Because it's not enough to just make a YouTube video on your to-do list. That's way too big and ambiguous of a task. On my YouTube making to-do list, I actually have 6 subtasks that I break this down into, including scripting the video, filming the video, editing the video, designing the thumbnail, writing the description, and then uploading it and scheduling it. You could even break this down even further though, like that's not even as granular as it can get. You could break down the filming section into something like film A-roll, film B-roll, record voiceover, or even within the script, like write the outline, write the script, plan the visuals, plan the thumbnail. I think how granular you get with this really depends on your own personal process and how often you have to take breaks between these things. The reason why I like my to-do list of 6 items is because oftentimes I will script the video and then, a couple days later I'll film it, and then maybe the next day I'll edit it and then design the thumbnail and upload and schedule and all that stuff. This allows you to keep track of your progress when you are breaking up this task across multiple days potentially. Part of how this works out for me is when I say script the video, what I really mean is work through my YouTube script template, which is actually available for sale on my website if you want to check it out. But basically, this template kind of helps me brainstorm through what the story of the video is going to be, what the title is going to be, what the thumbnail is going to be, and then I make notes about like the opening as well as all of the kind of meat of the video, the different main points and the visuals associated with them, and then the closing. So all of those different components when it comes to planning editing and scripting and outlining a video, it's all built into one task for me because I've designed a template that helps me think through all that stuff. So check that template out if that sounds interesting to you, or otherwise you can make like a really specific to-do list of all those different components so you make sure you don't forget any of them. I feel like the worst feeling is when I sit down to make a YouTube video and then I'm like, wait, what was the thumbnail gonna be for this? Or even worse, when I'm editing and I'm like, I never shot a thumbnail for this. Now I have to like find one, like just picking a still from the video. We don't wanna do that. So you wanna make sure that you have your clear to-do list and get all these essential components completed. Okay, so now that we've thought through what our weekly deliverables are gonna be, what the subtasks involved in getting those deliverables done are, now let's actually plan out our week. I'm gonna show you how I do it using Notion because I'm obsessed with Notion, but of course you can use Google Calendar, whatever kind of format you like to use. Okay, so here we are at my Notion homepage. So you can see I have it laid out with just a cute cover image, and then I have sections for each day of the week, and then a little ambiguous sometime category where I just kind of put stuff that I want to think about for the future. This little drop down right here is essential to my weekly planning process. So basically every Friday afternoon, after I've completed everything on my list for the week, I have the very satisfying moment of deleting all those completed tasks, and then I have this blank home page that I'm ready to fill with tasks for next week. So what I do is just click this little drop down here, and then you can see I have all of my weekly recurring tasks. So essentially what I've done here is I use the last step that we just went through and come up with what all of my tasks are to complete these weekly deliverables, and I've typed them out here. So then what I can do is just select all of them, and then I hit Command C. Then I'm just gonna collapse this drop down, and I'm gonna go over to Monday and hit Command V to paste them all there. Now that I've got them all in my kind of planning section, obviously I'm not going to do this all on Monday, so I just start to click and drag and place them where I want to in the week. So you can see there's all kinds of content creator tasks in here, not just YouTube related. So I like to remind myself to actually use my Instagram stories to promote my business every so often. Imagine that. If I don't tell myself to do it, I'll forget and just post stuff for fun. So anyway, there's that. And then I post to Instagram and TikTok 3 times a week. Okay, now for this section, you can see that I have a write YouTube script task. And then again, sometimes I have to remind myself to promote my own things, but I don't always do that. So sometimes I'll just like remove it if the video that I have planned doesn't involve that. Film my YouTube video, and then I have edit my YouTube video, and that's where all of my other subtasks live. So edit, export, design the thumbnail, write the description, and then upload and schedule it. So you can see I already have these broken down into 3 different tasks because I tend to do these at different times. Okay, and I've actually got my Instagram content batched for the next little while, so I'm gonna delete those tasks. And then these 2 things I always do every Friday. Pro tip, give yourself a task each week to clean up your desktop and downloads, because I'm taking so many screenshots every single day that my desktop quickly turns into just a realm of chaos. So I like to go in once a week and just delete the stuff that I don't need anymore, or otherwise organize it into folders where I actually am going to use it in the future. And like I said, right now I'm in an era of doing 2 videos a week, so I'm actually just going to copy that and then paste it over here. Now what I like to do is reference my Google Calendar and see if I have any meetings or anything like that coming up during the week. So let's say Tuesday, I know I have a meeting with, I always like to bold my meetings so I kind of see them, they stand out and remind me. On Mondays, I always have the Creatorly team meeting and a meeting with Shelby in the afternoon. Once I get a sense of what my upcoming week is looking like in terms of meetings and other stuff going on, now I'm going to shuffle around these YouTube tasks to make it fit into any given week. So rather than saying like, okay, every Tuesday I'm going to film my YouTube videos, it's going to depend on my meeting schedule and also Dan's meeting schedule, because I live in this 500 square foot apartment with another human being who also has Zoom meetings. So I just have to coordinate with that and figure out the best time to record. So I think I'm probably going to write my YouTube script on Monday. I will probably film this video on Tuesday, and then I'll probably edit this video on Wednesday. I like to break it up a little bit for the most part, because then you kind of can come to it with fresh eyes and know what's engaging and what's boring. And I just think it makes the flow a little nicer. I will probably also write another script on Monday, because once I get into the zone of writing, I might as well do 2. And filming 2 videos in one day is kind of a lot, so I'll probably do that on Wednesday, and then I will probably edit the second video on Thursday. At this point too, I will cross-reference my content calendar and then actually put in the names of these videos that I'm writing. Rather than just YouTube script, I would put in the title that I'm thinking of. And then finally, when I'm planning my week, I have a little section here that's just labeled next week, where I add stuff that as I'm working throughout the week, if I'm like, look, this needs to happen, but I can't fit it in this week, it's just too busy, then I'll put it down here. And then at this point, once I get a layout of like, okay, here's when my meetings are happening, this is when I'm gonna do all my YouTube content creation, okay, now I can slot this in based on what are kind of the slower days where I maybe will have more time to do some of this stuff. And that's really it. That's how I plan my week using Notion. And it's how I make sure that I can get done all of these various tasks related to creating YouTube videos. Usually, once I plan my week like this, there's always going to be more tasks that I end up adding later that I maybe just didn't think of at first, or maybe somebody asks me for something and something comes up. But this at least gives me an outline before I ever start the week, so I know when I need to film and edit in order to have everything complete. And in general, my workflow is that I always create videos the week ahead. So right now, I'm making this video, it's actually going to be posted the week after I'm filming. So basically, I can always end off my week on Friday afternoon knowing that next week's YouTube videos are already in YouTube Studio scheduled and ready to be published, and that gives me a lot of peace of mind. Oh, by the way, if you like that layout that I use in Notion and that might like suit your planning style, again, I have a Notion content creator bundle on my shop on my website. If you want to check it out, I'll link it in the description. I really believe that being consistent on YouTube or any other social media platform really comes down to my mom's advice, which is plan your work and then work your plan. You need to make a clear plan of what you're gonna do, when you're gonna film, and when you're gonna edit, but then most importantly, you need to actually execute on that plan. If you struggle with procrastination or actually following through on all these grand plans that you make, really think about these plans as a promise to yourself. If you told yourself you were gonna edit today, then make sure you go and edit that YouTube video. Just like if you told your friend you were gonna do something for them, you would follow through and make sure that you do it. Another mindset shift that helps me kind of adopt these practices is I'm always thinking about future Katie and what I can do to like do her a favor or make her life a little bit easier. Because really, whenever you procrastinate, you're just making life a lot harder for future you. I often think about how much I appreciate past Katie for putting in all the work to get me to where I am today, and for making those YouTube videos last week so that I didn't have to feel stressful about making sure they got published this week. So whenever I consider procrastinating or skipping out on making a video, I just think about what I can do to make future Katie's life a little bit easier. Beyond just planning your tasks and organizing your time as a YouTuber, there is so much that you need to learn about how the algorithm works and what kind of content performs well on the platform. So if you want to learn about what works well on YouTube in 2022, then check out this video that I made all about it. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!